What if I told you you could get better marketing campaigns and develop them faster, delivering better results? If you're willing to follow an agile process. Curious? You're going to have to listen to the show. Welcome to More Than a Few Words, marketing conversation for business owners. MTFW is part of the digital toolbox from Roundpeg, and this is your host, Lorraine Ball. Do you have a feeling that these days everything has to move just a little bit faster? You're not alone. We are in an age of agile development and agile marketing. And I thought it would be fun to talk with someone who lives and breathes this kind of marketing each and every day. And so I am really excited to have Connie Steele join me today. She is a seasoned marketing and strategy executive. She's co-founder and principal of Flywheel Associates, which is a business strategy, marketing, and operations consultancy. And she's worked with companies of all sizes and helping her clients break through business inertia by putting strategy into action. And so we're going to pick her brain a little bit today and see how we can put agile marketing to work. Hey, Connie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lorraine, for having me. It's just a pleasure.
Oh, I am so excited that you are here and that we're going to get a chance to talk about this because I know how important it is to move quickly, but also precisely. And that's where agile marketing comes in. So I thought maybe you could start with a definition of what is agile marketing?
Absolutely. So one thing that's so important, I think, for people to realize is that it's a mindset in addition to a process. So it is this test and learn mindset where you start small. You're constantly iterating, yet you're working fully collaboratively with all the stakeholders that should be a part of this from beginning to end. It's versus some of the traditional ways that many of us might have done marketing or worked with agencies that have done marketing where you talk to them, you give them your requirements, they go off and they build something and there's sort of this black box that happens. And then after, if you're lucky, a couple days, but sometimes it's weeks, they give you something and you're questioning whether or not they might have understood what you wanted to begin with. So it is all about trying to get something sooner rather than later to align to your expectations. And at the end of the day, accomplish your business objectives.
That is so important because being on the agency side now, it can be really frustrating when we think we've done our very best and we bring something to the client and they're like, yeah, no. So how does a small business owner that really wants to get into this agile mindset, what are the things that they should sort of have in their head as they're approaching this to make agile development successful?
I think the first thing is really ensuring there's clarity around what your business goal is and the different stakeholders that you may have as part of your own team that are going to help you bring this to life. If you are a solopreneur, great. That's just you. But in other instances, maybe you have a partner. Maybe there are a few other people who have an opinion of what it is that you want to do. And you've got to make sure that all of those people have the same vision for what that is, or have the same goal and intention. And much of that is extracting it from them. So they could also represent different functions too, even though, if you're a small business, somebody who's on an operational side could be different than somebody who's on a financial side, or even maybe they are in tech and they have an engineering perspective. But you have to get aligned there. Then once you have all the people and even an idea of what the goal could be, because maybe honestly, you might have even defined a goal. First point. So define the goal. But now you got to get aligned. Once you get aligned on what the goal is, what the objectives are, the target audience, very important, right? In marketing, you need to have that. You can ensure they're on the same page. So that is first and foremost. Then when you start to build against whatever it is you're going to be doing, you have to ensure there's constant collaboration and communication throughout the process because it isn't any hierarchical type of approach. It is being able to work collaboratively and sharing what you have and getting immediate feedback. I like it, I don't like it, and why. Mm-hmm. Once you know the why and the context of the why, then when you iterate against it, which is the next thing to consider, you know why you're iterating against it. And you can explain to the team members why you're iterating against it. And this is the same thing for an agency, by the way, too. And so through that, You then move to this test and learn approach. You're understanding what works, you're getting opinions, or maybe you even put it out there in the marketplace to see what your customers even think. So you could have created it, you work with them to get it to that first MVP, you put it out there for the customers to give you an opinion, and then you continually adapt.
Okay, I'm going to pause just for a moment because some people may not be familiar with the idea of an MVP. You want to define that?
Absolutely. So when I mean MVP, minimum viable product, what product could you create that just, it brings your concept to life? It doesn't have to be fully perfect. So let me give an example, maybe just even a creative execution. So I know a lot of people love designing things, whether it's a banner ad, whether it's a poster, whatever it could be. But what if you have a general idea of what it is that you want to do? And maybe you have a couple actually of executions of what that could be. Sketch it out first, or maybe just quickly put it up in a PowerPoint deck or whatever it is. But start with that to get a reaction because it shows your thinking, it shows an approach versus designing the full thing, almost make it look perfect. And then your team members, or if you're an agency, your clients are like, what is this? This was nowhere in the realm of what I wanted. But that concept shows what you're thinking. So kind of identify what that initial realization of your idea is. That's creative. But what if it's something copy? Write your idea down. You could write something. It's not perfect language, but it shows your idea.
I think of that a lot when we design websites. You know, when we first started, we would do a mock-up and we did it as a layered PSD file so the customer could see before we started coding, yes, I like it, no, I didn't. What we found is even that was too far along. And what we stepped back to is now we give them just a wireframe, just a sketch. And it's just a series of boxes that says the headline is going to go here, the call to action is going to be here, there's going to be a picture of a person here. Because if they don't like the flow, I don't want to design it and then have to go back and redesign it with a different flow.
It's a great example because you know your end client well enough to determine if that foundational piece doesn't work, or maybe the flip side is they don't even know. So if they don't even know, they can't quite react to what is in your head because this may be all new for them. So you're trying to gauge your relationship in that whole process. And it helps you as a person who's doing the marketing get a better sense of your end client, whoever that may be, to then eventually, you're kind of far apart initially, right? Because you're trying to understand each other, but you're getting closer and closer and closer through these iterations and you're building a relationship because the end benefit at the end of the day is that you get to adapt and pivot based on the changing dynamics with your client or even the market because things are changing. You get to market much more quickly, which is what they want, and increases the likelihood of a successful deliverable because you're getting more and more aligned each time you do. And the best thing is that you've got much better relationship with your team or client in the end.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing, the benefit, and you started to go down this path, you were talking about even testing it on customers, doing a small media buy before you spend thousands of dollars on magazines and billboards, getting those concepts in front of customers and letting them react to them. That is a very powerful interim step.
Absolutely. And even one that you could do is say you have just this idea, this concept, or something that you wanted to write. And maybe it's even something, say you want to do a radio ad. If anybody does any radio ads anymore. But what if you wrote the general idea, wrote up a short little script and shared it with patrons of your business just to get them to react? You can even narrate it to them. People are walking by within your store and you're talking to them just to get almost that little mini one-on-one interview, that little focus group. So you can see whether or not it's something that resonates or not. And that could just save you a lot of time and money.
Definitely a lot of money. Awesome. Connie, speaking about being agile, part of the trick with more than a few words is we kind of try to get as much as possible in as quickly as possible. And I think you nailed it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Connie, if people want to catch up with you, I'm going to encourage our audience to go and check out flywheelassociates.com so they can learn more about what you do and also look for the Strategic Momentum podcast to have a chance to hear you in the host chair.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it and look forward to helping your listeners in any way I can. I certainly always learn a lot from you on your podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Connie. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If you've enjoyed today's conversation, if you'd like to discover other tips for business owners, be sure to drop by the Digital Toolbox at digitaltoolboxin.com. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.